So they came on at 11 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock, and then 7 o'clock. She was in the other. Always been the night of Thanksgiving. We're live. It's different. Yeah, I'll remember this. Thanks. Oh, the budget, yeah, that was good. I'm gonna try.
I want some.
No, I'm mostly a turkey. Yeah. We are here. Coming to you live. from the show.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right, we expect a minion. So, let's, first things first.
I'm gonna assume that. Okay. Yeah. Solid, sorry. Yeah. Maybe. We probably won't get someone online. Yeah. Whatever, try to.
Yeah, well, with this.
Yeah. We're permissive. It's to count shares on the call. Okay. We'll just go through. Yeah. When you sound good or something. Yeah. Elaine, would you be our candle lighter tonight when the time comes?
Would you like to?
Thank you.
Yeah, right, exactly. I don't know if there are enough seats.
When I watch on the screen, I can tell
Where,
I know my friends back, they're here.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We'll begin by with gratitude, with just how good it is to be together here tonight together. Hine mato umanayim shevet achim gam.
Ine matov manam, shevet achim gam yachad. Ine matov manam, shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov. Shevet achim gam yachad, hine matov umanayim. Shevet achim gam yachad, hine matov umanayim. Shevet achim gam yachad, hine matov umanayim. Yalalai, la 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 la, hine matov umanayim.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us, as the brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day bring among those who kindle light.
We'll sing together.
We'll rise together in body or spirit for the Kiddush on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu asher anu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon yinchilanu. Zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tefila le'mikrei kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kirvanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol so in Baruch
You may be seated as we continue with the welcoming of the supernal angels who join us every Shabbat on page 24 with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Yasharet Malachei Elyon Mihi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mihi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hu L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei
just as we take time to welcome celestial angels, we take a few moments to welcome the earthly angels who sit next to us or perhaps across the room for us. Give them a hearty Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26.
Yitkada v'yitkada shemei Rabba v'amad v'rach hirutei v'amlich malchutei v'chai yehonu v'yomechon u'chayidecho beit Yisrael v'agala v'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimeru amen Yehei Shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lamei amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitruma v'yitnasei v'yitador v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'rechu le'elam yikol b'chata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata damiran v'yama ve'imeru amen.
We rise together in body or spirit on page 28 for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
We read together on the top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day and night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, responsively on the bottom of page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things were brought to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What would be a true token if you were blind?
From this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated as we continue with the Haftarah on page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinanta mivanecha, v'dibarta ba'am, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, u'leftecha b'derech, u'shofecha u'vkumecha, u'shartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot b'eineinecha. This is so great, each other, Asher will sing together, may heaven seats round me. They don't stop and will be on you, Adonai.
We continue responsibly at the bottom of page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
In bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again, we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of the world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice.
With this song on page 40.
Ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 mi chamo chabai li Adonai mi chamo chane darakodesh Yoratzi lo dosevele Yoratzi lo dosevele Malechutecha ra'u vanecha Okay ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'elianu ve'amru Ze'elianu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Yai lai lai la lai la 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 Yai lai lai la lai la 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 Yai lai la lai la yai lai la 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 Yai la lai la yai la 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 ונאמר כי פדחנה את יעקב וגאלו ויחסק ממנו ברוך אתה
Continue on page 44 with the song for Shabbat.
ישמחו במלכותך
Shomre, shomre, shomre,
שבת וקורא ישמחו במלכותך
shomre, shomre, shomre,
שבת וקורא עולה שבת מקדש ליבי שבת Shabbat, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. והשביל רצית בו וקידשתו שבת, חמדת יומי, אותו קראת שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, Shomre, 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 Shabbat וקורא עונג שבת. זה למעשה בראשית שבת. זה למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך. Shomre, 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 Shabbat וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך. Shomre, 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 Shabbat וקורא עונג שבת.
We rise once more in body or spirit on page 46.
הופיע בתהילתך, אדוני עומד על מלך
Maybe see them. In a week when we surpassed the most mass shootings this country has seen in 10 years, I think it's appropriate that we take the opportunity to pray for peace. We do so with the words of Shalom Rav on page 6.
Shalom Rav, Israel Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Israel Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech Adon, lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon, lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. V'tov be'einecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael. B'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, b'ashalom. And just as we spend time praying for the healing of the world, we also take a moment to pray for the more individual sorts of healing, whether that be healing of the body or healing of the spirit or healing of the mind. If there's a name that you'd like to offer so that we might all hold together in community, I invite you to do so in our Zoom chat or as my passes over. The words to be Shabbat can be found on page 253.
Avotenu, Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Just as we've taken the time to pray the words on the page, we offer you now this few moments so that you might pray those words which you find in your heart.
Elohim, Yitzur, Lishon, Musvatai, Midav, Velim, Hallelujah, she's below, enough she can follow, Elohim, Yitzur, Lishonim, Era, Musvatai, Midaber, Mirma, Velim, Kabbalat, Nafshi, Tidon, Nafshi, Ke'afar, Lakot, Elohi, Elohi.
Parshat Toldot is almost too perfect for a Thanksgiving parsha. It's really, it's got everything that you would expect at your Thanksgiving meal, right? There's a little bit of sibling rivalry. There's some parental favoritism. There's some lentil stew, of course. And I could go into the various ways that food plays a role in this week's parsha. I could talk to you about the family dynamics at play. But for me, I was stuck when I considered not tomorrow, but yesterday. And I was thinking about Thanksgiving, and I was thinking about turkey specifically, and it took me a while to remember what the Hebrew word for turkey is. I was stuck. I said, it's not Turkey. It's not one of those. It's not a continent. It's hodu. Hodu. It's an odd word, hodu. Hodu comes from the root lahodot, Thanksgiving. So I don't know whether the Hebrew language scholars were thinking, oh, well, there's this connection that the Americans have between turkeys and Thanksgiving, but I've always kind of liked to think about it that way. And as I was thinking about turkeys, I was reminded of a story I told here last year about a prince who thought he was a turkey. And there once was in a faraway land and a kingdom, and in this kingdom, everything was as normal. People went about their lives, they did their normal things, the king and queen and the royal family all were sort of in their motions. They weren't in a rut, let's say, but they were comfortable. Until one day their son decided that he was a turkey. And he ceased to speak, and he ceased to wear clothes, and he would just sit under the table, and he would peck at the food that they dropped at the various royal suppers. Now, this was cute the first time, a little bit less cute the second time. And even when they had guests over, the prince refused to put on clothes, and the king decided that he could bear it no longer. So he sent a message far and wide and asked the best doctors and lawyers and rabbis and other Jewish professionals to come and see if they couldn't fix his son. And they tried. The doctors tried, the hypnotists tried, the lawyers threatened lawsuit after lawsuit. No avail. The prince remained under the table and continued to peck at the food droppings as if he were a turkey, because, as he would say, gobble gobble. So, eventually a stranger comes. And maybe the stranger's Eliakim. Maybe it's just a stranger, someone who's not familiar with the kingdom, or the kingdom's not familiar with him. And he says, I can fix the prince. They've tried everything. What's the harm in letting a stranger try? No sooner had they said, okay, give it a go, than they were severely disappointed that the stranger also took off all of his clothes and also sat under the table and began to peck at the food that was being dropped. And they said, now we have not one turkey, but two. By that. And things went about for about a week like this, and the two turkeys would sit under the table, and one would gobble to the other, and the other would gobble back, and they would share the pickings that were dropped by the royal family, until one day the stranger took a pair of pants and put them on. Now, the turkey prince was shocked. He said, aha, I knew you weren't a turkey. The stranger looked at him and said, very reasonably said, listen, is it so bad for a turkey to want to be a little bit warmer? Would it be so wrong for a turkey to wear pants? The prince thought about it. And he thought about how cold it was there under the table. So from that day forward, he resolved to be a turkey who would wear pants. And another week goes by, and the two of them would stay under the table, but for the pants, it was all the same. Until one day, the stranger decided that he would put on a shirt. This was the turkey prince would thought was exactly what he had suspected. The stranger was a spy in his midst who was simply seeking him to get him to act like something that wasn't himself, which was a human being, rather than a turkey, which he knew that he was. Aha, he said, you're wearing pants and a shirt. I knew you weren't a turkey. Well, said the stranger, if we're being quite frank, it's getting colder. The sun went down today at 4 p.m. Is it so wrong that a turkey should want to have a little bit more warmth? And the prince thought about it. He considered that, gosh, wouldn't it be nice to have just a little bit more warmth there under the table? And so the cycle repeats itself. Two of them are sitting now fully clothed under the table, but they continue to peck at the food as it dropped. They continue to gobble one to the other. Until one day, the stranger wasn't sitting next to the prince under the table. He had taken a seat right next to the king. Aha, said the prince. No self-respecting turkey would sit down at a table. I knew this was a ruse. The stranger said, listen, is it so wrong? Is it so wrong that a turkey should desire a good meal? Not just the scraps, but a full, robust meal. And the prince thought about it. And he thought about how hungry he had been out of it. And how he really did miss the other foods that weren't dropped under the table. Sure, you had a little corn every now and then, but when was the last time that he had, I don't know, a Brussels sprout? So the prince took his seat at the table next to his family, and but for the odd gobble every now and then, he was back to normal. Now, what does this story have to do with Thanksgiving? We know that it's got a turkey. That's not good enough for us here at Temple Beth. Now you're going to have a little bit more. You're going to have a little bit more substance. Some longer. In a week when we've hopefully spent a little bit of time with our families and been reminded of maybe the ways that they do things that don't quite make sense to us, it can be our knee-jerk reaction to want to change them immediately. To say, listen, like, this is not how a human being behaves. This is not how Nana used to make her potato salad. I could go on. But until we are willing to get under the table with people, until we're willing to put ourselves in their shoes and walk a mile or trot a mile as turkeys do, then we never learn, then we never grow. So it's my hope for us as we begin to conclude our Shabbat service, as we go forward into this holiday weekend, we take a little bit more time, not trying to make everyone else like us, but perhaps imagining what it might be like. Would it be so bad just to be a turkey? We'll begin the conclusion of our service on page 282 with Olenu. We'll rise together.
Alleluia, I take you wrong. Shalom Samchatenu Panem, Begor Aleinu, Bechol Hamonam, Va'anachnu Korim, U'mishtachavim U'modim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Vayom Hahu, Yihyeh Adonai Echad, U'Shemo Echad.
It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our lives are gone. They're gone, and not but memory can fill the emptiness that their passing leaves behind. But memory can only tell us what we were in the company of those we loved. Find each of us now alone must become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and within our words. And what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our lives. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. And each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming that one, we affirm the worth of each one, whose life now ended brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and everyone finds purpose. We remember the recent passings of Harris and Rosen, George Matu, Phyllis Kaufman, Judge Richard Jerome Israel, Molly Granoff, Adam David Gilstein, and Benjamin Cooper. We also remember the yard sites of Rosalie Vandal, Ann Beagle, Julius Baum, Robert S. Brookman, Martin Fivish, Jean Moberman Jaffe, Abraham Lincoln, Henry Levin, Milton Lewis, Jock Warren Kellum, Sylvia Rudderman, Betsy Brown Ruzi, Ruth Scavini, Robert Zuckerman, and the words to our Martyr's Kaddish can be found on page 294. Ikadal, Ikadash, the Merah, down the Bronx, it would say, down the Bronx, but I get home to go back home, but I ate the place to start. Allah is not creating for the body. The age may not it's a God, it's a day, it's a lot, she made a good shot,
Let
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, which was said. Amen.
Shalom Aleinu. Ve'akol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
You may be seated.
Just to mention that tomorrow marks the first anniversary of the passing of Stephen Sondheim, who was near and dear to my heart. So a wonderful composer, just thinking about him today.
Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Torah study here somewhere in this building. It'll be, we've got a really thick portion. It's never too late to start this cycle. There's so many other things that we can talk about. There's a holiday coming up. Today's Rosh Chodesh Kislev. So in about 25 days, we'll have Hanukkah celebrations here at Temple Bethel. We also have a big Hanukkah celebration sometime in this week. You'll get all kinds of emails about it. The 11th, look at that.
Thank you.
The 11th of December, there will be some really cool stuff going on here at Temple Bethel. 4 p.m.-ish? Yeah. Good stuff.
We're going to conclude with Yigdal, page 324 in the black page numbers. The verses we are singing are verses 1, 2, and the last.
Yigdal Elohim Yishtal Nimsa Sito Nelam Vegam Mitzol Duto Elo Dirutaku Ve'elo Lona Arotela Vidu Shabbato Kadmon Lechol Davar Asher Nivra Rishon Be'Reshit L'Reshito Chaye Olam Nata B'Tocheinu Baruch Hadei Ad Shem Tehilato Chaye Olam Nata B'Tocheinu Baruch Hadei Ad Shem Tehilato.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Yom Hodu Sameach.
Yom Hodu Sameach. I really, that's a. I haven't seen the Helen Bonham Carter scene. I haven't seen the recent scene. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So good. Shabbat shalom, guys.
Shabbat shalom. Good to see you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Really isn't it always Thanksgiving?
You are.
So we never pronounced your relative's name on today? Ruderman. Obviously. Sorry. Another year. All right, well, I'll get it right.
My mom was just a few days ago and after my father's.
In some ways, it's more simple.
Yeah, it makes one less weekend studies.
Sure, yeah, get it all done, get it all out. How you doing, by the way? Shitty. Yes,
It's getting worse.
getting worse.
Well, Bob had a very good friend who was in Florida from high school. And he was married to a woman who was sick.
Hmm.
Because he got quite sick. And he was diagnosed with HIV. Opened everything. Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble.
There would never be a turkey if I had to take off my clothes.